Cheese, Shawa, Toxic Salama, thank you, and welcome to Juneau Afternoon from community-supported KTOO. I'm Boston Christopher. You can also join us on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube and Facebook pages. Today, the M Factor, Shredding the Silence on Menopause, is playing this Sunday and Monday at the Goldtown. We talked to the group who worked to bring the film to Juneau. Juneau Jazz Week is happening and wraps up this weekend. We talk with Michael Busey and a couple of the musicians about this week's activities. Mudrooms' storytelling event is next Tuesday, February 10th, with the theme Sweet Revenge. We have a preview. And JAMHI Health and Wellness is having a final event for their 40th anniversary. It's the JAMHI Look Back Project film screening on February 13th at Glacier Cinemas. We'll find out what you can expect from these celebratory films. Those conversations are coming up this hour on Juneau Afternoon. And tonight, there will be no re-air of Juneau Afternoon because you can tune in to Juneau Ghostlight Theater's live radio play, The Case of the Aspiring Actress, a new so-and-so mystery, detective so-and-so. You can go to juneaughostlight.com for more information on that. Again, no repeat of Juneau Afternoon this evening. Tune in to the live radio play. And next Wednesday, there is going to be a Southeast Alaska and EV shipping solutions panel discussion and live stream. This is going to be downstairs at KTOO on February 11th. That's next Wednesday. You can also stream it online, but basically AML will no longer be carrying EVs, and the Alaska Marine Highway System has limited its sailings to carry 2 EVs or plug-in hybrids per trip. So there are going to be new challenges there, and this conversation will bring together voices from across the system. Again, that's next Wednesday, February 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. downstairs at the KTOO studios, a panel on the EV and the shipping to here southeast. This is Juneau Afternoon from KTOO. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Alaska Airlines Club 49. Membership information available at club49hub.com. You're listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO at 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Auk Bay, and online at ktoo.org. You can also join us on the live stream on KTOO's YouTube and Facebook pages. This Sunday and Monday, The M Factor, a movie about menopause, is coming to the Goldtown Nick, and it's an hour-long documentary about perimenopause and menopause, and it is going to have 2 showings, and it was put together by a group of citizens right here in Juneau, 2 of which join me now in the studio. I have Erin Harrington, Gunachish Wasiyati. How are you today, Erin?
Thank you, Boston. Doing great. Thanks for having us here.
Former board member of KTOO. And I teased her before we started, but maybe future board member. We have Stephanie Yates as well. Wasiyati, how are you today, Stephanie?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. So let's talk about how this happened. Like, this is a movie that's coming to Juneau that you all made happen, you two plus a bunch of other folks. But give me a rundown of where the impetus and the sort of beginning of this started, Erin.
I love your question, how this happened. I ask myself that often at this phase in my life, like, holy smokes, how did I get to where I am now? But I actually think it's kind of the universality of this that brought this show and brought this conversation forward, Boston. So the genesis of it is that I, like many of my friends, peers, colleagues, am a woman of a certain age and experiencing changes in my life. And I was having a conversation at a party about a year ago with a fellow Juneauite, Amy Reifenstein, someone I grew up with. And we were just talking, checking in, how's life, what's going on? and we were saying, oh my gosh, like, how's it going for you? How is this change? How's this transition? How's this perimenopausal moment? And we both were really gratified to be able to speak to each other, but also saying, wow, like, this is a dominant conversation between us and many of our friends at our age right now, but also that it's a quiet conversation. It's not one that's necessarily supported by community resources. You can't log online and Google Juneau menopause or Juneau perimenopause and have immediate supports out there. And so we started brainstorming about ways that we could actually help facilitate a community conversation or spark a community conversation so that women like ourselves and the young women who will come up behind us, and also our elders who have already kind of walked through this part of their lives, could come together and be able to mutually support each other. We had a bit of a concept that if we just could spark something, we didn't, that some fire could occur. We didn't really know what that might look like. And then fast forward, through a winter season and a spring and a summer, and we find ourselves here being really fortunate to screen this incredible documentary that really talks about bringing the perimenopausal and menopausal journey forward in the societal consciousness. And also we're at this incredible moment where so many people are finally starting to talk about this openly. This was a shadow conversation for really all the generations before us, but thanks to women like Oprah and Drew Barrymore, Maria Shriver, a number of other well-known women across the United States and beyond, they're really working to bring this conversation forward. And so my generation, mine, Stephanie's generation, we are not having to have this experience without the benefit of information. So this was our attempt to try to bring some of that conversation right here to our hometown.
And so it was you and Amy's idea, and then you wanted to talk more about it, and then how did you discover this film? Had one of you already seen it?
I think that we became aware of it just maybe through social media, or maybe I had caught wind of it. It's a PBS documentary. We were aware of a thing that existed called menopause cafes, which is also a very loosely supported volunteer structure that kind of helps conversations emerge in communities. So we just were spitballing, like, what's out there that could be the anchor for a conversation. And we settled upon, thanks in no small part to the existence of this incredible resource in town, the Goldtown Nick.
Yeah, shout out to Colette Costa.
Absolutely. We thought, well, shoot, why don't we use the format of a movie and this incredible environment that we have at the Goldtown Nick and see if we can use that to, create a space for I'm going to call it the first conversation in the community, at least that we're aware of, around this subject, I don't know, recently or ever.
Okay, and then Stephanie, how did they reel you in? How did they get you to be involved in all this, and what's your role?
Well, Amy's a friend, and she had posted I think it was a link to a podcast on her Facebook page that was an interview with Mary Claire Haver, who is an OBGYN. I think she's now just GYN, who has started her own podcast and trying to bring forth more information on menopause and perimenopause, including the hormone replacement or hormone therapy conversation. And she then, I believe in that post, said that she was wanting to bring this documentary to town, and I said, well, I plan on this next year in my own professional practice to try to do education. I'm going to focus on educational events that are low cost or free to the community in health and wellness topics. And perimenopause and menopause was on the forefront of my brain because of so many patients that I have had that seem to be having symptoms with it. With little information, there's not much education for practitioners in this space, like whether you're in med school, physical therapy, and it relates to your genital conditions, musculoskeletal syndrome conditions, and so a lot of my patients are those females that were 40 to 60 with joint pain and no specific cause as to their arthritis other than it just is what it is, and females have a significantly higher rate of osteoarthritis than men in this age group. And so just trying to get that information out. So I was like, well, I'll help. Let me let's do this.
And now you're on the radio.
And now I'm on the radio.
And your work is you're a physical therapist?
Yes.
Okay. And so you want to move your practice and your work in the community to a little bit more educational, and this fits perfectly with that, it seems like.
Because education is pretty much what I feel like as a physical therapist is my greatest treatment tool, and I prefer to empower people for their health span and being able to take care of their own health and be the CEOs of their own health. And, we're in a small enough community that people need as many resources as they can to help themselves, because we're not always going to have specialists to be able to do anything.
Yesterday we had Dr. Jess
Yes.
Young, who's a new gynecologist in town, and one of her specialties is menopause as well as sexual medicine. And she's going to be on a panel so that you all are going to have on these showings. So tell me a little bit about what's going to be happening at the Goldtown on Sunday and Monday in addition to the movie showing.
So we'll be opening 30 minutes before the showtime. We'll be showing the documentary. And then we do have Dr. Young and Dr. Underwood, who has been in our community for a couple years, who is focusing some of her treatment on perimenopause and menopause. And one of the nights, only one of them is able to make it, but one is making it for two of them are making it for the other night. And we're just going to have a Q&A with people who are around, draw some door prizes, just kind of have a laid-back session with people to kind of come together around the topic, and then see what interest there is in other events that we might do in the upcoming years to help support people.
As Erin said, maybe the first conversation. Let me just give you the deets on the actual time. Sunday, February 8th at 4:30 p.m. At the Goldtown Nick, and then Monday, February 9th at 6:30 p.m. So 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, sort of like anti-Super Bowl.
It is.
Alternate programming for the Super Bowl. So that is Sunday, and then, of course, the Q&As will be after that. These are free. We want to mention that.
Yes.
And I think there's some door prizes that Hearthside donated.
So Hearthside donated 3 books. We also have a small group of, besides the 3 organizers, a small group of women who donated funds to be able to bring this to our community free.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's great. It's part of, how many people were involved in getting this all together? I'm just curious.
I'd say we're probably at around 15 women.
That's awesome.
It was really kind of immediately gratifying, Boston, to start communicating with people about this and just having people, friends, colleagues, peers throw money on the table to make it possible,
Right.
Not necessarily for any recognition or anything, but just like, yes, this is important and we want to be able to expand this conversation. I think, for us as women, experiencing, this just transition in our lives and having it show up in our knees and our ankles, in the way that we relate to people, in a whole lot of other related health issues, and sometimes feeling frightened and alone about it.
Brain fog.
The idea of actually being able to be in community and conversation is so motivating for us, because we don't want to be handling this alone, and we don't want others to be. I want a woman who is, experiencing, a lack of mental clarity on any given day, not to be sitting quietly and thinking, oh my gosh, is this early onset Alzheimer's? But saying, oh, there it is. I'm 43 years old. I'm 47 years old. This is probably perimenopause, and everyone around me might be experiencing this. And it helps you feel grounded and confident in moving forward through the stage of our life. 100% of women who are lucky enough to live to our age are going to experience this. And so it seems like something that we can support ourselves and each other by being in community about, rather than sitting quietly and feeling uncertain and scared.
And learning that there's options to help with symptoms, that it's not just something you have to live with, or as part of this documentary talks about the effect on the workplace, that you then have to give up some of your tasks at your job, or some women leave the workforce. There's stats on how many women leave when they hit menopause because they can't continue at the same level that they were before, that same function. But when there hasn't been support to be able, in the healthcare community, at our employers, to be able to still function, then it's very lonely, and it becomes even more isolating as you take yourself out of those events because you don't want your weaknesses to show.
Speaking of connection, right? So I know people can show up at the Goldtown next Sunday, February 8th at 4:30 or Monday, February 9th at 6:30. The movie's about an hour, and then there'll be a Q&A after that. But if somebody can't make it to the showings on Sunday or Monday, I know this group is sort of forming. Where does somebody reach out and say, hey, I want to be a part of this group. I would love to chat with you all more. Have we set up an email yet, or is there a way to connect people through a Facebook event?
My email. It's steph@wellalaskapt.com. So Steph, STEPH, at wellalaskapt.com.
Okay, great. That's a perfect way to do that. And then also, I want to put in that the M Factor 2 is going to be coming in March. So you can see this first part, and then you can also get information and learn about the second part that you guys are going to be bringing here in March as well.
Yes, the same group that did M1 just released M2. Amy and I figured out while we were looking at the M1 website in early January, and that we've been able to, you can apply to it. We'll be showing it in March, and we'll have more details. It will be part of the stipulation of bringing that one is we have to put it on Eventbrite, which is fine. So
Yeah.
the details will be on Eventbrite. There may be a small fee for that one.
It's newer, right?
It's-
So the licensing and all that's probably part
well,
of that.
and actually this group, pretty amazingly, as long as we offered it before March, its debut, the actual showing of the film is free, unlike us having to pay for this last one.
Oh, I see.
We'll still have to pay some for the venue and that kind of thing.
Right.
So, but it still should be low cost. And so we will, right now the date is slated for March 25th.
Yeah, March 25th. Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Well, it's so great, a grassroots effort to have a common something in mind together that you're experiencing, and then to go out, get some resources, bring that to the community. I just feel like that's what Juneau's all about. And so congratulations on that, and best of luck with the movie showings this weekend. Erin Harrington, Stephanie Yates, and Steph, give your email just one more time for people if they want to reach out if they can't
Yes.
make it on Sunday.
Yes, and if you want to be put on an email list for future events as we put that together, please reach out, or I can also send you the slideshow that we put resources on for books and podcasts. It's Steph, STEPH, at wellalaskapt.com.
Excellent. Gwyneth Cheesh for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Boston.
Yeah, this is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO.
Hanson Gress, Ka eat with the shuyi, we kashuk ayitin. Jin kat ka ke jin tak kanakaya ha anikak, Gwyneth Cheesh.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lazarowitz, and this is Climate Connections. In the Great Lakes region, climate change is causing more intense storms with heavy rain and powerful waves that can erode beaches and bluffs, wash out roads, and damage homes. Properties near the shoreline are most vulnerable, especially when water levels are high. Zoe Kuntz of the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative says lake levels rise and fall naturally.
But we're seeing an increased irregularity and extremes with those highs and lows with climate change.
To protect properties, cities and homeowners sometimes build concrete floodwalls or other hard barriers. Kuntz says these barriers may provide short-term protection, but they destroy wildlife habitat, and by reducing sandy and marshy areas that absorb waves and water, they often cause more erosion elsewhere. So her group helps communities design and secure funding to create what are called living shorelines. For example, a buffer of deep-rooted marsh grasses that absorb water, break waves, and stabilize the shore.
Really, it's a way to kind of naturalize the shoreline in a way that reflects what it used to be, so it's more resilient to the challenges that we're experiencing along the coastline.
To learn more about climate change, visit climatemudrooms.org.
This is Juneau Afternoon from your listener-supported public media station, KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher, and in the studio with me now is Michael Busey, and we are in the middle of Juneau Jazz Week. There's all kinds of events still left for the concerts. It started earlier this week on Wednesday with the ever-popular Jazz Ramble, which is a bunch of events all around downtown Juneau, jazz jams, as it were, and then all kinds of other things that we're going to talk about with Michael. Gunnath Chish, Wasiyati. Michael, how are you?
Great. Thanks, Boston. Thanks so much for having me again.
In the middle of the busy week.
Yes, it is. It is so many things going on. We brought 26 musicians of the Kailathe Dance Party into town, Martina da Silva Trio, and others, Jacob Mann, these wonderful jazz musicians from all over the country and even the world. We've got a trumpet player we brought from Portugal, Nashville, Toronto,
Wow.
New York, San Francisco, LA. But they come together to be part of the jazz group that is the Kailathe Dance Party and Friends.
And
that's what
Kyle
we got.
Theta has been on our show. They've played in here before. They played last spring, I think, when they were here. You all were on in, later in the fall when there was a concert going on again. And we love the Thade dance party. It's so fun. And so tell me first, though, this Juneau Jazz Week, this is the second or third iteration of this?
Juneau Jazz Fest is, yes, this is the third year.
Okay. And how did it begin? Where was the impetus for this to start?
Well, it was based out of the Sitka Jazz Fest that ran for 25 years or so down in Sitka. And I'm a retired music teacher from here and used to bring my middle school bands down for about 12 or 15 years of the Sitka Jazz Festival. Always huge success, hugely impactful, beautiful. Kyle Thade and Bob Thade were a big part of that event. So when the Sitka Jazz Festival ended a few years ago, Brian Van Kirk and I who's the music teacher at the high school, really missed that, agreed that we really needed to have that come here now. And so we checked with Kyle Thade and Sandy Fortier of Juneau Jazz and Classics, and they said, let's do this. And so that was 3 years ago, and that's how we threw it together, and it's going stronger every year.
And it's a combination of like public performances, but then there's a big education component, right?
Exactly. I like to think of it as a three-legged stool where we want to encourage jazz in the community. That's kind of the Jazz Ramble, inviting local artists to be part of that, and that's something that we're continuing to develop on and wanting to succeed more so in the future. But there's that, and then there's the educational part is schools from Ketchikan, Petersburg, Fairbanks, Sitka are all here right now at musicians, and they're going to be performing in the next 2 nights. And they'll also be getting clinics and coaching from these fantastic world-class jazz musicians. And also part of the educational venue will be done on Saturday from 12 to 3 at the high school. Are clinics. There's about 30 different clinics based around jazz music, some more specific to an instrument, some more general to the public, but they're open to the community. They're all free. Show up Saturday at the high school between noon and 3 and come sit in on. They're fantastic, and it'll be presented by these members of the Kyle Thade bands.
Okay, so let's just, for reference, because there's a lot going on, let's start with, we've done the Jazz Ramble, there was a Brown Bag concert yesterday, and now we're at Martina da Silva, which is happening later today.
Later tonight, yeah, and at 5:30 actually is the schools will perform. So tonight, for instance, will be the JDHS 0 Hour Band, Sitka Jazz Band will perform for 20 minutes, JDHS Band, second hour will perform, K-High from Ketchikan, their jazz band will be performing. Then we'll take a short intermission, and around 7 o'clock, it will begin with Martina da Silva Trio out of New York, and a lovely singer, and so that is going to be the main headlight tonight. But when she's done, around 8:30 or thereabouts, we can all relocate to St. Anne's Parish Hall for the Kyle Thade Dance Party dance. at the parish hall there on 4th. I think
Yeah.
it's 4th, yeah. 5th, maybe it's on 5th Avenue. And that $10 entry fee. There'll be a little dance lesson before each set.
Oh, that's fun.
And the 3 sets of the dance party will be a swing set. And this with a huge band, it is so fantastic.
Yeah.
So it'll be a swing and then a Latin lesson in music and then a pop funk lesson in music, a blast. So
And that goes from 9 to 11 tonight.
Yep, all ages and
At the St. Anne's
At the
Parish
St. Anne's
Hall.
Parish Hall, yeah.
Okay. And then tomorrow, you were mentioning this a little bit, but just run that down for me again, because some of these things are open to the community, right?
absolutely, yeah, they're all open to the community.
Okay.
Some are paid and some aren't. Tomorrow morning, another free concert of the Kylothade Big Band or Dance Party at the Valley Library. And that'll be starting at, they'll start playing at 10, but if you want to arrive at the library with your little one, and this is, again, catered for it's in 9:30 to 10, and then at 10 o'clock, they'll give a concert, songs with big band, but with narration, with explanation. And Kyle's got a lovely touch. Songs like "The Wheels on the Bus," "You are
man.
my sunshine." I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, you gotta have all
Three
those in
Frogs
there.
on a Stump or something.
Right.
They got all these great kid songs and lovely. And so bring your babies, bring your little ones.
Right. I love that. That sounds good. Okay. And then, like you mentioned in the afternoon, there's going to be workshops. And you said there's about 30 different workshops that are going to be all around JDHS. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So, it's starting at noon, and each workshop will run about 45, 50 minutes and change on the hour. And so there's about 10 or more workshops on each hour up until 3 o'clock, and then there'll be a jam session that's
my
open.
gosh.
It'll be on the stage. And this is mostly kids, but it's a lot of fun to watch, a sixth grader get up for the first time and play a solo with a jazz group is a delight to see.
I love that. And that's all free for the
That's all
community.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the final bash, Kylothade Dance Party, plus the school jazz bands and the All Alaska Jazz Band at JDHS, right, with your guest artists again. And that's pretty
Again.
affordable. A general ticket is $30 for that. Students are $5, and that's going to be again at 5:30 up until about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yes, and that is not all. That is not all.
Oh, that's not all.
No, so to kind of like a little bit of frosting on the end. For those, It's Saturday night. What are you going to do?
Right.
So the Alaskan, which has generously given us a great discount on housing for the musicians, is going to have a jam session that night.
Oh, no,
for the musicians.
more
So-
jazz.
So it could be that a lot of the Kylothade dance party are really exhausted and want to just go kind of hang out and have a beverage. But usually they play too.
Yeah.
So it'll be an open jam session. The evening probably won't get started till close to 10.
And that's at the Alaska.
And that's at the Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you can end the whole weekend, put the kids to bed, go have some adult beverages.
hang
and
with
enjoy
the dance party band,
Yeah.
and then they all fly back to their places.
Wow, that's amazing. And Michael, where do we find out more about this whole schedule at?
Great question. That would be the Juneau Jazz Fest. If you just Google it,
Okay.
and it'll bring up the schedule. Go to the Jazz and Classics website, and that'll have most all the information. You can scroll through it, and
love that.
it's well put together. Yeah.
Education, music, concerts. How much more fun can it get, right?
Man, I don't know. It's a blast. I'm so glad that we're doing that, and it's and just a shout out. I can't express enough appreciation for this community and the support that it gives in making this possible, because it's expensive bringing all these guys.
That's a lot of people you mentioned.
It's
yeah.
a lot of people, but I think the end result is really satisfying, and I hope people show up for the concerts.
I remember last year when we had the Athade group in here to play for Juneau Jazz Week, I believe, or Juneau Jazz Fest, you call it, not Juneau Jazz,
Jazz Fest,
Week,
yeah.
Jazz Fest. But Eddie was sitting over here, the saxophone. I mean, we had a drummer in here. It was amazing. It was so good. It was so fun. So I can't imagine tripling that number of artists, 20-something artists in one band. That's kind of awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, and I love that they're educating, and we'll look forward to this one as well as future Juneau Jazz Fests.
You bet.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Boston.
Good cheese for being here. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. Up next, Mudrooms. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com.
You're listening to KTOO's Tlingit Word of the Week. This week's word comes from Kakhla'at Florence Marks Shakely. And the word this week is ayauditi.
Ayauditi.
That means it's stormy. And here is a sentence.
Ayauditi yaigi.
It's very stormy today. Let's hear it again.
Ayauditi.
It's stormy. Gunas Chish to Juneau Lance Twitchell, Goldbelt Heritage Foundation, and the University of Alaska at Southeast for this audio.
Kakhla'at Florence Marks Shakely is Llukach Adi and a child of a Chukanidi man. She grew up on Mark's Trail in a family that used Tlingit as the primary language and were involved in documenting, teaching, and publishing in Tlingit. She has taught the language at all levels and has served as the teacher of teachers in the Juneau area for decades now.
And please tune in next week for another Tlingit Word of the Week from KTOO.
If I moved across the country, would you move with me? If I moved right back, would you stay? How do I tell you I'm falling out of love with myself, and that you don't taste quite as sweet as you used to, but maybe nothing does. Nothing might be sweeter than you. Maybe nothing does. Nothing might be sweeter than you, like being alone. Looking up tree trunks, holding granite chunks, waiting in cold water, waiting to die. In love, oh to die. In love with the company, oh never no craving company of no one. With the company, I'll never know.
You are listening to Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K at KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. That's a little bit of the Rain Dogs live from the red carpet stage here in Studio 2K. That was called Company of Nothing from their forthcoming album. And this coming Tuesday, every Tuesday, always the Tuesday, is Mudrooms. It's February 10th at 7 p.m. at the Kunikidi Northern Light United Church. This month's theme, Sweet Revenge. Stories of sweetness or the kind of revenge that just tastes so sweet. Really curious about these stories. And joining me now in the studio to talk about this, Taylor Beard from the Mudrooms board. How are you today, Taylor?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. And then, of course, Dan Parks from the Southeast Alaska Food Bank, who is the beneficiary for this month's Mudrooms and maybe for other Mudrooms.
For March as well.
For March as well. Okay, that's great. The musician that you have is not Rain Dogs. It's Taylor Dallas Vidic, who will be your musician for the evening on Tuesday. So for those who are uninitiated, I don't think there's many, but if there are a few, tell us, Taylor, what is Mudrooms?
Mudrooms, we are a local, we're not technically a nonprofit, but what we do is we get storytelling events for the benefit of local nonprofits. And so it is 7 minutes, 7 storytellers for $7. And the reason why we go with 7 is because we broadcast this and it has to fit in an hour. So that's why we do 7.
Usually you play them the last Monday of the month here on KTOO.
Yep.
In place of an assembly meeting or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's why, so 7 times 7 is 49, and there's probably
and
like some music in between, and a little bit of music, a little bit of hosting, all that kind of stuff.
We always get asked why it's 7 minutes, and it's like, well, because we just have to do that.
And here's the coolest thing, and I mention this a lot when you're here, but at mudrooms.org, which is where you can go to find out everything about Mudrooms that's going on, there is an archive that you all have on your website that has, I believe, every story that's ever been, almost every
I think
story.
we're missing a few, but yes, pretty much every story that's ever been told.
Let's say 99.23%
Yes.
of the
I would say
stories
that's
that
a
have
solid
been told
Yes.
are on that website. So, and you're always looking for storytellers,
We are
and this is a
always
great
looking for
way for
storytellers.
people to listen to them and kind of get an idea, maybe get inspired, because every month is a different topic.
Yep. So we used to do every month, but now we do every other month because we have a hard time finding storytellers because people are afraid to tell stories for some reason, even though
So every time there is a Mudrooms, which is probably like, you do it over the winter months, right?
we do it over the winter months.
And then in between some of the storytelling shows, you have workshops that
We have
people could also
workshops.
take.
Yep. So this year we had it in October and December, and then January we had Mudrooms. Now we have February and March, and then I think that's it for the year.
Yeah.
But we will have another workshop coming up. We don't have the date scheduled yet for that.
Okay, but March will be the last storytelling event, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're always true personal stories, so it's not like make up a story and come tell it.
Right. It's stories from your life that are around the theme that you have there. Yeah, that's kind of good. I mean, Sweet Revenge makes me think of all kinds of stories that I might want to tell. But and then the beneficiary, Dan Parks from Southeast Alaska Food Bank. We've been hearing a lot about the food bank over the last 6 or 8 months for sure. But tell me a little bit about the food bank and what's going on over there these days.
Sure. Thanks, Boston. The food bank has been in operation since 1999 here in Juneau, and we are a small but mighty and rapidly growing nonprofit. We provide food resources to, I believe my last count was 36 eligible tax-exempt organizations throughout Southeast Alaska. Many of them in Juneau, organizations like JAMHI and the Glory Hall, Aware, and some that you might not know. And we have organizations that we support in Cake and Gustavus and Haines. In a really strong position, we have a lot of food. We're activated lately by cuts to federal food assistance programs and such. So we're a food bank. We're banking food. We're sourcing as much food as we possibly can and distributing it to as many people that want to help us in our mission to feed hungry Southeast Alaskans.
And so if folks go to Mudrooms and get some entertainment, then this money that they raise for, because you don't keep any of the money, you pretty much pass it all along, and then that is used then to buy more food so that you have the ability to help more organizations, right, or more people.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll buy food with it. We might use it for some operational overhead, but it'll be it'll be put back into the community. Exactly.
It's good to hear that the community is stepping up and that you're not short right now on food.
We're a very lucky organization in that respect. Southeast Alaskans are very charitable, very giving people, and we've seen an incredible outpouring of support over the last 6 or 8 months, like you say.
And if there is, so if I don't want to give food, could I volunteer my time?
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor here is one of our dedicated volunteers, as
Okay.
well as Taylor's children. We are an extremely volunteer-driven and volunteer-supported organization. We would not be able to have anywhere near the impact we have if it wasn't for our team of at least 50 very dedicated volunteers.
I love that.
Big shout out.
And
Food
it's a
Bank
lot
volunteers.
of fun to volunteer also.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
What kind of things do you do?
So I'm usually there on Thursday. Well, I try to be there on Thursdays. My kids have lots of stuff going on, but I help pack up the bags that go out to families.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an assembly line going down, and Dan always has good music going. So
I love
it's fun.
that.
Every Thursday is our public pantry from 3 to 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
It's one of the many programs that we run. It's not our core program, but it is one of our most impactful. It's a pretty big deal. Lately, we've been feeding about 500 people each week.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of it's a good deal.
That's great. So, well, Mudroom's Sweet Revenge is next Tuesday, February 10th at 7 p.m. at the Coonekidee Northern Light United Church. Do you want to shout out the storytellers that we'll have for
Yes.
next Tuesday?
So we have B.G. Loper, A.J. Perling, Akanksha Basil, Chip McMillan, Anne Marie Elder, who is one of our storyboard members, Trina Lynch Jackson, and Ashley Morehouse.
Trina Lynch Jackson is telling us she was
is.
just on the show because that's awesome.
Yep.
She's probably going to be talking about her uncle.
Or
no, she's doing something else because Sweet Revenge would be different.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting to hear her story tomorrow.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yes.
Trina was just on the show. She's awesome. And I know she's doing a talk next week at the library, but that's not about Sweet Revenge. That's about her uncle and his armature masks. But that's really great that you've got so many awesome storytellers. And if people want to be a storyteller, Taylor, what do people need to do?
On the homepage Mudrooms of mudrooms.org, there is a storyteller sign up, and we are always happy to coach and help people with their stories. So we're not just going to be like, figure out your story, go up there and burp it out.
Right.
We will actually help you with the process. So just it's a Google form. It's pretty easy to sign up. We like I said, we have the workshops. We're also willing to do personal coaching.
And then what is the final topic for the year in March?
Doggone it, Rut-row.
Doggone it, Rut-row.
So anything going awry, basically.
I love how you all come up with these. I know it's like a meeting. You get together with a bottle of wine and you try to figure out what
we literally had people say that our last year's themes were wine mom themes, and we were like, how do we not be that way this year? So
they should be, maybe next year they got to be all like memes of some sort, like meme titles.
We spend a lot of time
figuring it out.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
We're like,
sure.
What's going to get the good stories? Because you can't do like, let's do rain boots because everybody has a story. You want it to be kind of a diverse thing. So,
yeah, for sure. That is so cool. And so give me a shout out for, I know it's mudrooms.org, and then your website, Dan.
You can find us at seafb.org.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Mudrooms next Tuesday, February 10th, 7 p.m. $7, 7 storytellers, all for a good cause over here at the Southeast Alaska Food Bank. I really appreciate you all being here. We're going to go out with a little bit of Taylor Dallas Fiddick as part of the Newton Road Review that she does as well. And this is an awesome song that they did live here in the studio a couple years ago. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I get my head in a dilly, feeling so lost, ticking you off. Well, you know me well, that I'm that kind of feeling, that kind of soft, that kind of silly. When I'm in doubt, I open my mouth and words come out like, baby, there's a shark in the water. There's something underneath my bed. Oh, please believe I said, baby, there's a shark in the water. I caught them barking at the moon. Better be soon. High in the sky, the song that I'm singing, sweet little light, I cry, wolf cry, rabbit in the hat, so that's what I'm bringing, some tricks up my sleeve for noticing me. Oh yeah, I wouldn't cause you any harm, I just want you in my arms. I can't help myself. Baby, there's a shark in the water. There's something underneath my bed. Oh, please believe I said, baby, there's a shark in the water. I caught them barking at the moon. Better be soon. Better be soon. Right is right, rules are rules. This is more like April Fools. I'm just winding you up. Oh, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Please don't make too much of it. It ain't that serious. Oh,
Oh, man, I love that tune. You're listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO at 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Ock Bay, and online at ktoo.org. You can also join the live stream on KTO's YouTube and Facebook pages. I'm Boston Christopher. Taylor, that was from the Nude and Rude Review. From a couple years back. You're a member of that. But you also have an album coming out. I'm mentioning this because you're going to be at Mudrooms next Tuesday.
I'm getting around, boss.
You're all around. And then when's your album coming out? April. Okay, we're going to have you back for that for sure. And that's a cover of an awesome tune that you all did, and it was really great. So thank you for being here. JAMHI, the Look Back Project film screening is happening February 13th at Glacier Cinemas. It's part of JAMHI's 40th anniversary, and the films were commissioned from local filmmakers to help record history and to share the future of JAMHI Health and Wellness, which is awesome. And today, to talk about it a little bit, well, we've already mentioned Taylor. Welcome in. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. And then we have Rachel Gearhart, who's the Chief Integration Officer. What a wonderful title.
Thank you.
I want to know what that is. What is a Chief Integration Officer?
Well, we are always shooting towards better integration for clients so that we can kind of be the one-stop shop. And so my role is to help us integrate better internally, but also keep that as a focus for our clients. So I'm the main integration cheerleader. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and then I also have Heidi Adams, who is a care navigator for JAMHI Health and Wellness. What's a care navigator, Heidi?
I am one of those individuals they'll meet first when they come into JAMHI. I help introduce them to our services, maybe and see how we can help them, and then also make external referrals, help them find out maybe other services or agencies in our community, including the food bank, Polaris House, a number of other services. So I really get to have these great interactions with brand new clients.
I love that. Okay, so, and now let's rewind just a hot minute because it's the 40th anniversary, which is awesome. That's an amazing thing. And JAMHI Health and Wellness. Rachel, can you tell me what is JAMHI Health and Wellness as an umbrella?
Absolutely. So we're almost 41 at this point. We're
right.
Really
this
close.
is the end of the 40th year, right?
Yeah. We started out really doing behavioral health, especially housing for people who had loved ones who needed that extra support. Over those 40 years, we have expanded our array significantly. So we touch people at all ages, not just mental health. We, in more recent years have brought in more substance use treatment and then primary care, managing their healthcare needs, because what we know is that you can't separate these things. They really all belong together. You are one human, your brain and your body. We can't separate them. So it is really great if we treat them at the same place with people who know you and know you really well.
I see. Okay. And Taylor, your role in all of this, they listed you as party planner extraordinaire. So tell me, what was your role here? Because I know you don't work at JAMHI, but you're contracted to help with these celebratory events.
Yes, I was contracted for this 40th year to help them celebrate through events and marketing and just have a little extra juice to shine a light on the role that JAMHI plays in the community. And it has been such an honor to learn about the organization this year. And it brings me, what's the word that I want? JAMHI is such a bright spot in our community, and it's been really cool to have a reason to engage with the organization especially in these celebratory fashions, like next Friday at Glacier Cinemas.
Awesome. Yeah, and speaking of that, so these films, I'm going to bring up the flyer here for people to see it if you're watching the live stream, but it's Friday, February 13th at Glacier Cinemas. The doors open at 4:30, and the films will begin at 5. Tickets are free. And they're available on your website. And what is the website?
www.jamhi.org.
And
Easy.
if you go /screening, it'll take you right there. But I think it's on the webpage, or the homepage as well.
Probably a button.
It's like a pop-up right now.
A pop-up right now, yeah. And so tickets are free and available. And so tell me about this film. You commissioned artists. How did this all come about? What happened here?
We worked with Pat Race to help us group together 12 different local documentary and filmmakers. So each of these films are 3 to 5 minutes, and they focus on JAMHI's history, JAMHI's present, and the services that JAMHI is providing.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and Pat Race, owner of Alaska Robotics, also part of the Jump Festival, which I believe is coming back soon. So that's kind of cool. So he has all those connections to all those filmmakers. So Rachel, what were you all hoping when you commissioned these films, and has it met or exceeded your expectations?
I definitely think it exceeded our expectations. And Heidi is interesting. She actually hasn't seen all of them yet, but I shared a few of them with her to show her kind of the array.
Yeah.
What we were hoping for was documenting our history, celebrating our history, preserving our history, but also creating that buzz and excitement that, like, we're still here, we're not going anywhere, and to really see it done in these different filmmakers' ways they see the world and their vision, the creativity of how you would tell it, because I would just tell it by talking, like I'm boring, but the way they envisioned how to tell this story was really, really cool, and they're all so different.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. So can you shout out some of the filmmakers that were part of this? Do we have that list?
Yeah, Pat Race made one, thank goodness. Valerie Kiesel, let's see, Gemini Waltz Media, some of the videographers that work at Cedar Group, we were able to loop in as private contractors. I don't have the list right in front of me, but those are some.
Rachel Levy?
Yep, Rachel Levy, who has a show up at the Jack right now in the gallery, or maybe just had a show at the gallery.
Oh, and I see here on the poster, I think David Rossau?
Yeah.
Ian Perez.
Kendall.
Yeah, Jordan
Yeah,
Kendall.
Jordan Kendall, yeah.
Josh Laboca. Nick Gohl. Pat Race, you mentioned already. Rachel Levy, Levi? Levy, I think it's Levy.
Yeah.
Levy. Sorry, Rachel.
You mentioned Gemini Shoshana Gungerstein. And who was the other person? Oh, Joe Yates. And something called Take for Two? Taku for Two. Yeah, I couldn't see it on the poster there for my old eyes.
Yeah, so people who come to this can learn about JAMHI, but just being able to see 12 locally made documentaries that are so different from each other, it's a really fun movie event as well. So we're so excited that Glacier Cinemas is allowing us to do it on the big screen.
I love that. That's really cool to be able to see these on the big screen. And Heidi, what are your hopes for JAMHI in the future? What are we going to, we're going to get some of that from these films, but from the providers themselves, what are you thinking about?
Well, I think ultimately we continue to strive to reduce any stigmas in regards to services, regarding substance use, regarding mental health. Families are actively involved, and we just want to continue to see more and more individuals be able to receive the services they could benefit from, whether it's a referral to full service. I realized watching those videos 25 years ago, JAMHI was imperative in saving my life. I had forgotten, and these videos reminded me as a young parent how my struggles were. And had JAMHI not been there, my future could have been much different. And my hope is, with everyone that I speak with, they can feel safe to be who they are in the moment and where they are, and that we can help them become the person they want to be, not who we think they need to be. And so as a whole, our providers believe in that. As an agency, that is our goal, is to support everyone. And we have so many challenges facing us all now, even more so. I think it's crucial that we turn to one another to support and grow.
So you're saying 25 years ago, JAMHI saved you, and then is that what inspired you to become a care provider?
You know what's interesting? I actually hadn't remembered.
Oh.
It was a day I was driving past Twin Lakes, and I had thought, boy, oh boy, I could either drive in and have a terrible situation into Twin Lakes, or I could turn left and go to JAMHI. And I turned left.
Oh,
and
wow.
The path that I went on after that has transformed me so much that I even have forgotten how challenging that was in my early parenting. And I'm so relieved to have had a place that I could feel welcome. And now to see the videos that are presented at this screening, it shows the grassroots effort of families and individuals creating an agency that's now almost 41 years old, and the people who believed in that. And so as a JAMHI family, we believe in it. It changes lives. We can support people, and it is crucial.
And what's the best way for people to gain access to JAMHI's services? Because is there a wide range of services, obviously. Do you have to go through a care provider, or can you contact you all directly, or how does that work?
There are so many different ways, but ultimately we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. We want you to walk in. If you're like I did 25 years ago, I was able to say, I need help today. And we take referrals, of course. We collaborate with other agencies. You can walk in. You can go onto our website and send a message. It'll come right to me, and I'll reach out to you. We'll schedule an appointment or even just have a conversation. We have our JAMHI family out in the Jordan Creek area. You can walk in there and let them know you need some assistance. So it's a multi-prong approach as we need it in our lives, right? And so we're not going to limit ways people can access service. The other thing that's amazing to me is we can, through our CCBHC program, provide service at a sliding scale and or free service if someone cannot afford it. And so to me, that is exactly how service should be provided to individuals. We don't have to turn anyone away.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And Rachel, in terms of your work, what do you see for the future in terms of the integration officer's job?
Yeah, we are still trying to get the word out that we do primary care, whether that's, not urgent care, but if you need an appointment, you don't have a primary care provider and you need to be seen for, I don't know, is this an issue? Is this not an issue? Come let us know. We do not have long waiting lists for medical services, which is rare in this town. We also, because with our medical services, we have a sliding fee scale. We don't turn people away if they aren't unable to pay. And maybe we can't do it all in-house, but we will make a referral for you. So again, integration is really, it's been there, but it is still where the future is getting your service providers connected, talking to each other, and doing as much as you can in one place where everyone knows you and knows you really well. That's what we're shooting for.
Well, happy 40 years, almost 41, right? And that is so excellent. And is this the last 40th anniversary event?
Yeah, I mean, we think so. Yeah.
We think so. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be more. Who knows?
This is the last big event.
And this is the Look Back Project film screenings. It's happening February 13th at Glacier Cinemas. The doors on the big screen. 12 local movie makers on the big screen. Doors are opening at 4:30. The films will begin at 5. And this is a great opportunity for folks to see these films on the big screen in a nice, relaxed atmosphere. Maybe get some popcorn, a slushie, or whatever they call them out there now. Tickets are free and available on the website, JAMHI.org.
You got it.
Okay, /screening.
Screenings
or screening?
Ing.
No S. Screening. Excellent. Rachel Gearhart, Heidi Adams, Taylor Vidic, thank you so much. Gwyneth Cheesh for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That will do it for today's Juneau Afternoon. Have a fantastic weekend. Juneau Afternoon airs Wednesday through Friday at 3 p.m. right here on KTO Juneau 104.3 and KAUK Juneau Ak Bay 91.7. Hello, out the road. You can find the show at kto.org/Juneau Afternoon, or you can find live stream archives on KTOO's YouTube page. Thanks to our sponsors, Alaska Airlines Club 49, Hanson Gress, and Heritage Coffee Roasting Company. I'm Boston Christopher with help today from Aaron Tripp. Have a fantastic weekend.